Welcome to The Pod Has Been Cast Special Interlude Edition. Bow, 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 bow. We are stepping away from the world of the void to enter the realm of divination, a tarot-driven tabletop role-playing game exploring the esoteric arts. Who's playing with me today?
Hey, I'm Jules. I use the they them pronouns, and I'm playing the Emperor who uses he him pronouns.
Hello, I am James. Wow, sorry, I got distracted by a Zoom notification that you guys are recording. Obviously, I know that. My name is James. I use they, them pronouns. I have ADHD, and I am going to be playing the magician who uses he, him pronouns.
Yeah, can we start including that sort of thing with our
Oh, I
introduction?
was totally
Whether or
going
not
for
we have
sure. I was
ADHD.
up in like a
About to.
diagnosis.
What are our
Also,
neurodivergencies?
Play on.
Do we have enough time?
Yeah.
Right. Hi, my name is Alina. I use they or my name pronouns, and I'm playing the fool, and I also have ADHD.
Oh, yeah, you get it.
And I am Nyx. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing the Hierophant who has never really landed on any pronouns. And I also have ADHD.
Okay.
Aw. Hey y'all, I'm Bianca. I use they them pronouns. I have autism and I am your diviner this evening. And it's so nice to be paired up with all my ADHD friends in one mystery. You do not have to identify yourself.
What?
You can check that box off if you want to, Jules.
Oh, because I've never been diagnosed with.
We'll send you some online quizzes.
Yeah.
I
How
think,
about
I
that?
think I could probably take a quiz or two. I'd
know
hate to
what?
deprive us of a hat trick, so I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say that there's something going on here.
While Jules is self-diagnosing, we're gonna check back with one of our favorite characters and learn what happened last time. Cool. So you are all in your interior space. We are back in the lecture hall. You have just finished this experience together, I'll say. You are alone. All of the apparitions, including the one that spoke to you, have disappeared from the lecture hall. It is just the four of you. The screen, the viewing screen to the outside world, is off. This is normal. This usually happens when Carlyle is asleep.
Oh.
So don't be alarmed, but maybe do. How are we feeling? What is like the vibe in the room? What are our emotions? What are our reactions? Like, what are our initial thoughts to this experience?
So one of the things I mentioned about the Hierophant is that the little quills will sometimes write words in the air in light. And I think most of the time this is pretty small and it just becomes part of the glow that you all know as the fireflies. But in times like this where there's something really strange or something going on that's really affecting Carlyle, they behave in a different way. And right now, the Hierophant is doing something that y'all have never seen before. The quills are all sort of writing little snippets of this, whatever this thing was that the flower said to us. You know, you're seeing little snippets like artifact, hungry, banish, risk becoming its meal, you're being used. You're just seeing like snippets of that all sort of throughout my cloud of fireflies. And it's very frenetic and very choppy and broken. And the whole cloud is just sort of swirling around the room while this is happening. So clearly I'm handling it well.
Yeah. So things are just fine over here.
I feel like the magician is sort of like if you kind of picture him at like kind of a table in the middle of the lecture hall, just sort of like kind of tapping on the desk as if there were like different screens in front of him that you can maybe see a little bit. And he's just like kind of saying over and over again, like, okay, just play it back one more time. I need to see it. I need to see it. Can he actually, is he capable of seeing the vision itself again?
That is a great question that I had not considered until this very moment.
Ooh,
Um,
sorry.
No, I think this is the joy and delight of playing a game. Is half of it is you, and I don't have to think of everything because you guys are going to think of things that I don't think of. I how I like this question. How would the magician play it back? do you think that they what are you envisioning? Like that it's like playing on this screen?
Yeah, I'm kind of picturing him like trying to like scrub back as if he were like, editing together a video of the entire life of Carlyle.
Mm, mm-hmm.
And there's just like a chunk right at what just happened that was like it's sort of blurry or doesn't really quite make sense. So he's trying to scrub the footage basically. Um,
Yeah. I think as you're scrubbing the footage, I think what catches your attention is that the last probably like 30 seconds or so are just a still image. There's no audio, there's none of the words, there's none of the feeling. You don't see anyone's hands reaching up, and there's no flower. So it's just the lake and the cities in the background and the moon hanging overhead. I will say that if there's any particular part that the magician would remember specifically,
mhm.
he could probably play that back, but the whole thing is sort of lost to you, which I think maybe raises a couple flags.
So I think then what you see is like that single still image that just stuck, and then every once in a while you're hearing the "you are being used" part over and over
Mm,
again, because that's
mm-hmm,
the only thing he's thinking right now. Who is using me? Who is
mm.
using us?
Yeah, I think like the second that we sort of come out of this, the emperor like rises off his throne and draws his sword,
Yeah.
and sort of yells out, "What is this? Are we under attack? To arms, soldiers, to arms!" And you like see the doors, those giant doors to his private space, like burst open, and on the other side of it, you see this entire like centurion army lined up with like shields and spears. They can't breach the door, but they're trying like hell to like come out and protect their emperor.
That is so sweet. And so a lot of chaos. Fool, what are you up to?
Well, is just like is at the lectern, so it's just like kind of like frantically like touching the book in front of them, like what just happened, and is also like um very feeling very much like they've just ruined everything. Um
Yeah.
they were like, nobody put me in charge again. I am so sorry. I am never doing this again. I don't know why I thought I could. And then I think, and then the fool runs over to, I'm allowed to leave the lectern. Like, it's okay if no one's at the lectern, right?
Yes, yeah. So we technically right before this we finished a test, so control is up for grabs. So you are more than welcome to step away if you
Yeah,
would like.
oh yeah, I'm like stepping
Ooh.
away as if like I've been burned, and I walk over to like that little the reminder for the listeners at home.
Mm,
In our lecture hall there are like little ghosts of students who are like
mhm.
writing notes and stuff, and like as if they're like memories of students in this lecture hall past. And one of them like raised their hand, and that's how this started. So I
Yeah.
think I'm like going over to that kid person and being like, what do you know? Who are you?
I think
Answer me.
they are gone. But I do like the idea of the fool interrogating the other students that are still there. And so like every time you like run up to one, you're like, "Who are you?" They sort of like dissipate. So there's like
Oh, oh man.
so there's a lot of chaos that's happening
Yeah.
inside. We've got this army pressing at the door. We have the magician sort of like standing over his control panel, muttering over and over to himself, "Who is using me? Who is using me?" And the hierophant is like playing these messages, like, and the cloud is like filling the room, and the fool is running around like, "What do you know? Who sent you? What's going on?" As like these like students are sort of like evaporating. Um, uh, and no one is at the lectern. Nobody takes control.
Yeah, Bianca, did you say that we are asleep right now, or because you said there was nothing on the book? So are we
Yes,
asleep?
that
And
is.
go ahead.
Oh no, you finish.
Well, I was going to say, if we are asleep, is that immediate after the vision or whatever the heck that was, or do we know that we like? Do we remember coming out of that and we are now asleep in our room?
That's a good question. You don't remember that, and you, I would say like recognize sort of like this like closed. You're he's not dead. I'll clarify that. right now for everyone at home. Carlisle is alive and
Well,
well.
that's good.
Good to know. Good to know.
But I
It
do
occurred
think
to
that
me, but
it did occur to me.
Let's get a quick
Um,
Carlyle check.
That's what I heard. Carlisle check, quick Carlisle check. We just get a pulse. I do think that noticing that he is asleep so quickly after this experience has happened has certainly probably like raised some alarm bells for you all, for whoever is paying attention, for whoever notices.
Mm.
Okay. The magician is going to kind of stand up and just sort of like brush brush the screens that are in front of him off like they're pieces of paper, and they kind of go flying and then disappear. And he says, "All right, if no one else objects, I'm taking control, and we've got to talk to somebody because this is I don't know what just happened, but we're not going to find it out just sitting here."
I'm gonna flit over right off of your shoulder and just be like, can we wake up? Can we wake up? I think we're asleep. Can we wake up? I don't
Uh,
like this. Why are we asleep?
I don't know. That's what I want to find out. Fool, could you find anything out? Were you able to control anything? What happened?
No, I wasn't able to control anything. I was transported just like the rest of you.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna walk over to the lectern and just sort of like, rub my hands together like I'm about to touch a hot stove, and I know that I'm about to touch a hot stove.
You
Um,
know that common experience.
yeah. You ever try to
Yeah.
make yourself touch a hot stove?
I mean, just earlier today, I was like, I haven't touched this thing in a minute.
I should ignore it.
No, it's greasy.
Ew,
Um,
I should clean this.
yeah. So I'm gonna try and put my hand on the lectern and take control.
As the magician steps up, the emperor will put up a hand, and the army will stop. There's like just sort of frozen in motion, like spears like pointed and shields raised, and the doors will like slowly start to close.
As the magician is sort of like warming up his hands, like getting ready to like, okay, as you put your hands on the book, the viewing screen sort of flickers to life. And we can hear Roderick's voice start wafting through the speakers. And he's saying, "Hey, you okay? Carlisle."
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. What happened?
Um, well, it's 8 p.m. The library's closed. We're heading up to our room. Did you find you doing okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm fine. It's what time did you say it was?
It's 8 p.m. Library's closed.
Okay. What happened?
Well, we split up to do research, and we came back, and you were taking a nap, and we sort of like debated on it for a while. But Shay thought maybe some sleep would help you feel a little better. So, but they headed up to the room. But I, I, I thought I'd
Right.
make sure that you were okay.
Magician, the fireflies are swirling around you, and you hear the whisper almost like it's on the wind of, do we still have the Doreen book? Do we still have the Doreen book?
Yeah, I'm gonna look around. Do we still have the
Yeah.
Doreen book?
You do. All of the
Okay.
books that you had are still in front of you.
Okay. I'm just gonna say, yeah, great. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, it's gonna be a stressful time, but I think we can do this. We just need to kind of get some rest. Okay. Do you know if Doc Barb is around? I'm just gonna start kind of like collecting the books, and kind of put them in my backpack, and just like within, I'm just gonna be like, are we good if we can just take these, right? Is that okay?
I think we need the evidence.
All right. Let's keep them.
No, I think everyone else went up. I mean, she's staying here, so if you really need to talk to her, you can. But, you could, if you've got, I don't know, if you've got something if you want to talk about something, I can listen. If you want, it's okay if it's like a secret
No,
thing.
no, there's no secret. It's okay. I had a really weird dream. I mean, you don't two matching cities doesn't ring any bells, does it?
Um, no, not really my forte, metaphors.
Okay.
More of an algebra guy. Love formulas and equations. But we could ask our
Hey, yeah, emotions and metaphors are just like the mathematics of the mind. It's just two different forms of math, and you are very, very good at the one that you need to be, and that is awesome. So no worries, no worries. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can. I guess.
Thanks.
Yeah. How's everyone else doing? Are we able to? Do we have we made any leeway? Anyone found anything else?
Yeah, Shay thinks that, and I'm going to make sure that I don't misgender her. Shay thinks that she found some really good stuff in the history section, and
Okay.
Eileen thinks that there might be some like I don't know, some Italian involved in some way. So they've gone up to the room to start doing research on like I don't know, ancient Italian. Again, not really my forte, but Doreen was involved in World War II, so they think maybe foreign languages might be part of the code. Did
Okay.
you find anything before you fell asleep?
Well, yeah, I had the idea of just like also kind of trying to see where. No, no, I'm sorry. I I don't think I have much of anything right now. It's been a weird chunk of time, and I'm just trying to kind of wake back up a little bit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, uh, totally. I understand. We're gonna be just fine. It's like you
Okay.
said. We don't have anything to worry about. They do.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So do you know where Doc Barb is staying? I do kind of want to just like check in.
Yeah, I think all the judges are up on the fourth floor. We'll be on the third, so I can
Okay.
walk you to the elevator.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't mind.
No, nope, not at all.
Uh,
Um, yeah.
how are you doing?
Oh, uh, I'm I'm doing fine. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited about tomorrow. I feel like we've got a good shot at this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we do. And ultimately, I don't know. I feel like I've been really kind of focused on figuring this out for us. And if I'm honest, for me, I want to sort of be the team that breaks the code. But I'm trying to keep in mind that also, if anyone breaks the code, it's going to be really good for all of us. You know.
Yeah. Um, are you trying to make a connection here, perhaps?
If I had to put it in like so many words,
Yeah, maybe.
I would say reinforce a connection with a person that I know. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we take a little spin on a little test to see if we
Sure.
can really smooth things over here. Because that was a very nice thing to say, but it was also a very vulnerable thing to say. And there's always a risk with vulnerability. So let's take a little look at we said connection, so we're going to do connection. Sense, understand, and empathize with the feelings of another person or group. This is a cups test, and it's active. So we start at 6. Magician, what is your cups suit?
Uh, I got a nice old 0 on cups.
Perfect. Um, does anyone have anything that they want to add? I was just looking at Roderick's bonus.
Mm.
But does anyone inside the brain have anything that they want to add? No.
Uh,
The emperor is like,
yeah, this is not my area. Emperor's like scowling and looking away.
Oh boy, King.
The fool is probably just like, tell him how you feel. Tell him that you appreciate him. Tell him that he has really nice eyes. Tell him you got this.
Tell him we still have a lot of studying to do tonight.
Oh. Yeah, honestly, in the back of the magician's head, he is hearing what the fool is saying and sort of going like, yeah, yeah, no, they're right.
He does have nice eyes.
Really good
All
eyes.
right, so good. Magician 1, 2, or 3.
3.
Let's do it.
We never learn.
So, just to clarify, this was an active test of connections, which was cups. We needed a 6 or higher to succeed. And we got an 8.
Yes.
Hell
Yay!
yeah. Hell yeah.
Success! An
Turn
8
it
of
around.
cups to
Ooh,
be
that's a crit.
exact, which is a crit. which means we did really well. Nix, do you want to take a second to explain what a crit is for the listeners at home?
Yeah. So with the skill that was just tested, that was a cups skill. And since the card that was revealed as the future card was a cups card as well, that is in divination a critical success. And so we all get an XP.
Hey.
Yay! So you all keep track of those,
Thank goodness.
because I do not. And I trust you.
I won't.
To do that for yourself. So with the Eight of Cups, I really like this because the Eight of Cups is very much about like knowing when it is time to move on. There is like always an option to sort of like sit and stare, like the woman in this photo in this card is doing, at all that has been lost. But there's a person in the background walking away, somebody who sort of like reclaimed their destiny and is like, no, this is no longer for me. So I think in this moment, as you're like bridging this connection with Roderick, there's this sense of like Roderick agreeing and deciding to be like, I know that this is just like a weird spot for us, but like it's going to be totally fine. And I don't really want to hang on to this anger. Like, we are a team, we are here together, we worked really hard on it, and we've spent so many nights on that front porch together. And this is not going to erase those good memories. So as you and Roderick are talking, the conversation, if it flows at all, flows very easily. And if there is no conversation, it's a very comfortable silence. I think that the two of you are close enough that like you can move through space together without necessarily needing to fill the silence. But if there is anything you want to tell Roderick before you get into the elevator, as you're like riding up, we reach the third floor. The doors open. He steps out.
I did find some of her old books, her old journals. I was gonna look through those if you want to look through them with me.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to do that?
Honestly, I don't know. But at this point, one, I got the books. Two, I know where you're hanging out. I know where I'm hanging out. So, you know,
Sick. Okay,
yeah.
cool. Well, I'll wait up, I guess. And like the doors are like closing on the elevator. And he's like, I'll see you
All
I'm
right,
around
going to
down the
hop
hall.
into control and put my foot in the door.
Yes, yes.
Quick question. Are any of us sharing rooms or do we all have our own room?
I am imagining sort of like an ensuite situation where there's like two rooms connected. So Shay and Eileen are in one room, and you and Roderick are in the other.
Okay. So I'm going to stick my foot in the door
Yeah.
and just say, oh, you know what? Actually, let me run back to the room with you real quick. I need to grab something and take care of a couple of things before I go find Doc Barb. So I'll walk with you.
Oh, okay, sure. Right this way. And the sir, and the two of you walk down the hallway. And he's like, where did you find those books?
Oh man. I'm a little unsure how much to tell you, not because I don't want you to know or I don't trust you or anything like that. A little bit plausible deniability.
Yeah.
Someone let me have access to them and I'm not sure why and I'm not quite sure what's going on. This is a little bit of why I want to talk to Doc Barb. So is it okay if I put a pin in that question for now?
Yeah, that's totally fine. I love plausible deniability, so I will let you keep your secrets this once.
Okay.
And you reach the room. He opens the door and sort of like lets you in. What would you like to do in here?
All right. So I think that Carlyle has a notebook and a pen that I'm fine if any of the other aspects feel drawn to this as well. And it's something that anybody would write in. But I think the Hierophant is the one who went out and bought the first one and just
Hmm.
uses this to, sometimes it's about jotting notes. Sometimes it's about capturing ideas, things that are overheard, things that they want to remember for later. But a lot of times the Hierophant just uses it to sort of make words tangible and make thoughts tangible and kind of sort through things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think because we were probably dressed up for this thing tonight, we didn't have it on us, which normally I would make sure we always have it on us. But I'm going to go sit at a desk or wherever, and pull out that pen and that notebook, flip open to a blank page, and write down as much as I can remember of the words that the Hierophant has been writing in the cloud all
Yeah.
night, the thing that this flower or whatever said to us. And then I'm going to close it and start to put it all away, but then have a kind of a second thought. I think to Carlyle, this is a sense of, maybe wanting to have like something familiar, or even going so far as to like a lucky charm or whatever, but something, just
Yeah.
something familiar and trusted. And so, I'm going to slide the pen into a breast pocket or whatever. But I'm going to hold on to it for a moment, and I'm going to use my power personal artifact.
Ooh.
Yay.
Imbue an object the hero can touch with a power from any currently unplayed aspect sheet. At any future point while the hero is holding the chosen object, you may use that power, paying its cost and following its control restrictions. An imbued power is used and may be replenished as normal, but may not be upgraded. You may not have more than one personal artifact at any time. The power is lost if the artifact is destroyed. You may choose to end this power at any time, returning the artifact to its mundane state. Once lost or ended, a power may not be imbued again on future personal artifacts.
Sick.
Damn.
So
All
Yes.
right.
this is not a magical, just to metagame a tiny bit here. This is not
Yeah.
a magical ability. So I think what is kind of happening here, because the idea of choosing from an unused aspect is sort of the idea of tapping into a part of the persona that doesn't, it's like an extra tool in the toolbox, a part of oneself that you wouldn't normally have access to through any of your four aspects that live within you.
Yeah.
And so I think that what this sort of manifests is just this moment where Carlyle kind of sits down and holds onto the pen and tries to get just sort of recentered. That, I just taken a big breath, and that kind of, I don't know, it unlocks something and gets me thinking in some creative ways. And I sort of have this additional tool in my arsenal now. The power that I'm going to choose
Yes.
is actually from the Hermit, which
Ooh.
is one of the two aspects that I'm playing the developer card here, because this is one of the two aspects that y'all did not actually have access to choose from,
Right.
because we
Oh.
use these a little bit more for campaign right now. Most of
Yes.
their powers are a little bit more campaign focused, but I have chosen their power Brilliance. And that's all I'm going to say right now. I'll tell y'all what the power does when I have a chance to use it.
Hell
I
yeah.
love a mystery. Sick.
What a move.
This
Wrote
is why,
this.
when you can, you should play a game with the person who made it. That is.
Well, Matthew wrote all these awesome powers, so praise him
Matthew.
for that stuff.
With
Praise
us in
Matthew.
spirit. Praise Matthew for the powers, but
We are
praise you for
unworthy.
using them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh, juicy. Okay, so Carlisle sort of like takes a breath. This like power is imbued in this pen. What does it look like, if anything, on the inside as the Hierophant sort of like uses this power? What do the other aspects see, if anything? Do they see anything at all?
I think the quills glow a little bit more brightly than any of you have ever seen. And maybe there are words in particular, the word brilliance, but maybe some other words that just kind of indicate that something is happening that is maybe new for the Hierophant.
Hmm. Which I really love, because I do think that this is something that none of you have experienced before. What is happening? So being able to like tap into these extra powers, if it's gonna get weird, baby, let's get weird. You know what I mean? Like,
Let's get weird.
so I love that. Do any of the aspects have any reaction to this this like brief moment of brilliance from our dear Hierophant?
The Emperor will like sign something like very indicative of like a religious like sort of sign, and kind of bow slightly to the Hierophant, the only one the Emperor would bow to.
Anyone else?
The fool would snap. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I'm excited to see what this is. Um, they're sitting on like the edge of a desk of one of the students. They disappeared
Yeah.
with like Asmodeus like clutched to their skull. You
Yeah.
know,
Got a butcher monkey. God damn it.
my
Oh, man.
monkey.
I feel like the magician sort of pulled a chair up next to where like he was just in control and the Hierophant kicked him out and just is
Yeah.
sitting behind um them. No, you said so. No, just
Hasn't really
really
settled on any.
ambiguous.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so like he's just kind of sitting behind them and just sort of with like two fingers up against his lips, just says, "Okay, Hierophant, just checking in. Are we good? Are you okay?"
Yes. And I think the other thing that you all have noticed is that, first of all, as soon as Carlyle picked up the pen and the notebook, this frenetic, like writing and rewriting of I keep wanting to call it the prophecy, but whatever that thing was that this flower said, uh, it calms down and the state of the cloud returns to more what you're used to. And as the magician speaks, this extra glow that had kind of been there also calms down a little bit. And now I'm back to sort of the regular Hierophant that you all are used to seeing. And I say again, yes, I needed a moment to center myself. I think I've done that now. Should we go talk to Doc Barb and find out if that was her?
The magician's gonna kind of stand up and pick up his chair and say, I think so. I think it'd be good." And he kind of brings it back into the center and sets it down.
At this hour, we're going to go to Doc Barb's room and tell her what? That we had a dream that we don't understand?
At
Doc
this
Barb is a
hour,
judge
it's
for this
8:30.
competition. It's quite late.
Some of us have bedtimes.
And we do not need one of the judges of this competition to think we've lost our minds.
We have history with Doc Barb. She's not going to think it's odd if we come say hi. And I think we will be able to get a sense as soon as we make eye contact of if there's anything up. And if we really feel like not, then we can just make pleasantries and go our merry way. But I think it's worth
trust-
at least checking in.
I trust your judgment, Hierophant. Just tread lightly.
I think we go in, we say thank you, we say, how about some coffee tomorrow morning, and then call it a day. And in the meantime, just keep an eye out for any vibes that she might give us.
Most importantly, should I kiss her hand again?
I think we're good on that, personally.
I sheathe
thought
my
it was-
blade.
It was fun, but it's been done before.
We gotta keep it
No.
funky fresh.
Yeah. Maybe
Perfect,
we.
so-
I was gonna say maybe we make sure. I'm saying this as the fool. Maybe if we mention an artifact, a dangerous artifact, if she has any knowledge of it, I think we know her tells, right?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
That's it.
All
Hang
right.
out.
So yeah, I think we're gonna I think we'll just head up to the 4th floor and hope that we can figure out where Barb is. I could go all the way down to the front desk and ask, but then I risk being told not to bother them. And
There you
let's
go.
just go up to the 4th
Let's just
floor.
go. I love it. So you
What
sort
could
of,
possibly
like,
go wrong?
what could possibly go wrong? So you leave Roderick in the room. He says, "I'll wait up for you," and you head back up to the elevator. You arrive at the 4th floor. How are you trying to find Doc Barb?
I think I'm going to walk along the hall and just slowly walk down and I'm not like pressing my ear up against the doors, but just trying to sort of listen. I mean, hotels are notoriously not soundproof.
Yeah.
So I think if there is, I'm hoping that maybe she's talking on the phone or, that I'll hear her voice or even hearing other voices to kind of eliminate other doors. worst case scenario, I'll just knock on a door, and then if it's not her, I'll oh,
oops.
sorry, I was looking for Doc Barb. Do you know what room is hers? But I think I'm starting by just walking along and listening.
Yeah.
And while I'm doing this, I'm going to activate mellifluous voice. Gain +1 on tests of leadership, connection, and discretion until you lose control or there is a change of pace or location. So for as long as I'm doing this.
Great. So leadership, connection, and discretion, you said?
Correct.
Great. I love that. And I think that was going to be super useful when you see Doc Barb, if you see her. I would be willing to do a test of perception since you are using your senses to sort of take in information about the world. You're like listening for her voice to see if she's on the phone. If there are other tests, I'm open to suggestions, but that is my initial thought on this.
I'm okay with that.
Great. So this is an active test of perception, which is swords. Hierophant, what is your sword suit?
+1.
Nice. Okay, so that will bring the swing down to 5. Does anyone have anything that they would like to do to affect this test of swords?
No.
Great.
Nope.
Just going to shuffle the cards. Shuffle the cards. Audio format. Hello. All right, Hierophant, 1, 2, or 3?
I'm going to break protocol here and go with 1.
I love it. Okay,
Have I
this
pulled
is an
one
active.
before?
I don't know. We pulled a lot of 3s last time. Mixed results. So this is an active test of perception. You need a 5 or higher to succeed. And we got a 1. We got an Ace of Wands, which is the worst possible thing that could happen to us.
Yes, that is a disaster unless we can change it.
Unless anyone has anything they can do.
So this is a question. Whenever we change something from, so I've got a power where raise or lower by 1 the number of a just revealed future card. If the hero was ready after this test, don't remove that ready condition. So if I raise this by 1 to a 2, we still don't succeed, but at least it's not a disaster, right? Is that how that works?
This is true. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
Well,
there's
in that
anybody that
case-
can do anything to help us better than that,
Anyone got anything else like a success?
I used my one get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
last session.
Yep.
I could do the thing that I did last time.
Well, you
But-
couldn't because you did it.
I can't do it more than once.
No, you, can only
no,
do it
you
once.
have
Yeah,
to
I'm
replenish the power before you can use it again.
Mhm.
Oh
in the
no.
same spot. yeah.
Nothing. We're fucked.
All right.
So disaster or no?
What do you think?
It's up to
know, I
you.
I
I
mean,
think
if I'm going to
disaster's
fail, I
kinda
might as
fun.
well fail spectacularly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
could
Okay.
save. You could save. I think okay. So that's interesting because I think the magician suggests right. Like I might be able to step in, and the Hierophant is like, no. Let's see what
I
happens.
got this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You got this.
Okay.
Oh my
Great.
god.
What I love about this, the Ace of Wands, to me, the aces are very much like the very, very beginnings, the sparks before the big bang, like the moment before, for the wands in particular, inspiration, like the strike of the match before the flame lights the head. Like it is a moment of inspiration. And so with this energy, the Hierophant takes Carlyle down and is like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I got this. This is going to be so perfect. And you walk forward and you knock on one of the doors and it opens. And it's Phyllis who
Right.
the director of the Sphinx Institute and also the person who handed you the books earlier today. And she takes a look at you and you sort of take her in and she is in, I'll say like pajama garb. It's a nice, it's 8:30 p.m. And she is over the age of 28. So she likes to go to bed at a
Hey.
reasonable hour. As somebody who is 28 and loves to be in bed by 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
I'm modeling her after my own experiences. So she's wearing a very nice set of pajamas. They're like black and white stripes. And she has a little cane, which she didn't have before.
Hmm.
And she is like, oh, hello. I didn't expect to see you at this hour.
I think for the briefest moment, there is an absolute oh shit look on Carlyle's face,
Yeah.
which the Hierophant very quickly smooths over. And I am going to seize the opportunity that has been presented to me. And I just say,
Mhm.
hi. Did you say, can I call you Phyllis? That seems
Oh, sure. Phyllis is fine. Mrs. Watterson
okay.
is my mother.
Phyllis, I you stepped off before we got to touch base again, and then the evening was over and you were gone. I still have the things that you let me look at, and I wasn't sure if that was okay.
Smart.
The magician melts into a puddle of just relief.
Smart. You know what? It's fucking smart is the thing.
Phyllis, Phyllis takes this information in. She sort of like looks behind you, and she says, "Well, did you tell anyone that you took the books from the library?"
Oh, no, 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 of course not. In fact, um, to be a little honest, I think I lost track of time while I was looking at them, and there was nobody left in the library when I finally left. So I just kind of walked out.
And she sort of laughs at that in sort of like a very bemused way, and she nods and she says, "Well, as long as it's our little secret, if I don't know and you don't know, then nobody knows."
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't something that, because it's in a pretty prominent display case. And so is it something that needs to be back before the competition begins? Is it something that anyone will notice is missing?
And she says, in the heat of competition, I'm not sure that they will. But if it'll make you feel better, you can bring them to me tomorrow morning and I'll put them back in the case. How about that?
Okay. I will sleep on it and I will touch base with you in the morning if I feel like that's the right move.
Great. Did you find them enlightening?
Yes. I'm not sure what I found in them yet, but I'm going to sleep on that too.
And she smiles and she says, wonderful. I'm really glad to hear that. Well, you have a good night's rest, and I will see you tomorrow in the morning.
Okay. Great. And I'm going to just stand there for a little bit longer. And I think, particularly when she was answering some of these questions about the book and stuff like that, like this whole conversation, I've been trying to kind of just gauge
Yeah.
what is going on in her mind. What is it with me? Why me?
The vibe.
What's she up to?
We're going to do a vibe check. I will say that since we had a test, control is technically up for grabs. So if anybody wants to step in at the lectern for this perception test, you may. If not, you mayn't.
Perception is which
Perception is swords.
sword?
That's the Hierophant. I don't know if anyone should leave. Or if
Could
if anyone
could
should
I
take over.
sell you on a test of connection, because I've been trying to kind of butter her up here this whole time and really like, hey, so yeah, no, I didn't do the thing that I didn't tell anybody about it and it's our secret. And
Yeah, I will say yes. I will say that you can. I think it'll be a different flavor of answer with connection over
sure.
perception, but I
Okay.
do agree with you. I do think that that is a reasonable switch. Yeah, I
Okay.
like it.
Yeah, because I think especially since there was this sort of moment where the conversation was probably done in her mind and I'm sort of
Yeah.
just like making eye contact with her now, you know? Hey lady.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So who is the Throne of Cups? That's the Fool. Would you like to join me in co-control? Because my cup stat is lousy, but as long as I stay in control, I've still got this +1 on connection.
I'm gonna answer in character and say, yeah, thanks, cool. I would love to. It, yes.
And as the fool steps up to the lectern, the cloud just kind of swirls all around her so that we're both just sort of one entity standing at the podium there.
Oh, I love
Ooh.
that. Yeah, so you are now in co-control. So I will pop that.
And that costs you a psyche, Alina. Hopefully that's
Yes. Oh,
okay.
yeah. That's fine.
Because I'm down to my last one. I don't know about anybody else.
Now we got an extra one anyway, so we're good.
Including the
Fun.
extra one. I'm down to my last one.
I gotta be
Okie
playing more
dokie.
aggressively then. I gotta step my stuff up.
Okey-dokey.
I've been
use
holding
any
on
of my
to 'em.
powers. Yeah, I'm holding on to my powers like I'm in like a video game RPG where I get to the end and I haven't used any of my health potions.
Just
Because
start
like, what
blowing
if
all
there's
your-
an emergency? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what if I need them later when
Yes.
the game
Right.
is over?
What a sweet
Um,
disaster, you know? that would be.
Knowing
Okay.
us. So we are doing an active test of connection. We are at a 6 or higher. We get a 5 because of the Hierophant's move, right? It's a +1.
Mm-hmm.
Fool, what is your cup suit?
+1.
+1. Great. We are down to a 4. If anyone wants to chime in, you can. If not, that's okay too. This is pretty good odds. I'm knocking on wood. And we will see what the cards say. 1, 2, or 3.
This is so much pressure. I'm going to go with 2 this time.
2. Meets it, beats it. We have pulled
Ooh.
a 4
Ooh.
of swords,
Excellent.
which
Oh
is just enough. I'm very proud of you all. Congratulations. You've done it by the skin of your teeth. We have a success. Hooray!
Woohoo!
Yay!
This is really interesting. So the 4 of Swords is very much a card about rest. It's very much a card that is like something big is coming and you have to be prepared to take care of yourself. If you are not resting, you are not going to be able to weather the storm that comes that's coming down the line. And I'm just going to make sure. Yep. Much needed rest, poise under pressure, calmness in the face of danger. You take this moment at the end of this interaction with Phyllis, and you don't know this woman very well. She's older, probably around the same age as Doc Barb. You met her probably like 5 hours ago, and she has been very courteous. She's been very giving. She's been very helpful. Something that you pride yourself on, knowing who and when and where to ask for help. And with this connection, there's a moment where I say particularly the Hierophant and the Fool feel this, but the Emperor and the Magician to a lesser degree. She is very invested in you in a way that doesn't feel equal to the effort you have put into this relationship. Well, have a good night. I will see you tomorrow bright and early for the competition. Get some sleep.
Thanks. You too.
And she sort of closes the door. And you are out in the hallway. We'll just pop inside for a moment. Inside Carlyle. What is the vibe? How are we feeling? What did that make us feel?
don't
I
care
would
for
like to
this, Phyllis.
I'm not sure what I think yet, but I would like to propose that we get some rest in the form of a downtime so that we can, get back some of our energy that we might need for tomorrow.
Yes. So we will head back to the room. You had mentioned to Roderick that you were thinking of entering into a bit of study. I'm going to ask Nix this out of character. Do we think studying would go against the sort of like vibe of downtime?
So I think, if it's anything that would require a test, that is absolutely going to pull us out of downtime because that's one of the characteristics of downtime is that there are no tests. The official description is that it needs to be 12 hours, at least 8 of which are, sleeping or resting, and that during the other 4 hours, each aspect can take control for a while for some sort of mundane activities. So I think if we were sitting, chatting, maybe flipping through the books, anything like that, that's probably okay as long as we still get our sleep. But I think if we do anything that triggers a test, then we will not get any downtime restoration benefits.
Gorgeous. And then this is just a question that I have as a diviner. If you were to study, if there were no tests, could you then be ready in something that you have like studied up on?
Downtime does not do readiness, but what you just described, I think sounds like a cool diviner just application of it. That if you're like, oh yeah, there's something in this book that I know as the diviner, if you study this, you would be ready in X either either skill or suit. Then you could do that.
Great. Then I will. I will do that. Thank you. I will say that since you, if you choose to spend time studying these journals with Roderick, you will be ready in worldliness.
Awesome.
And I'll put a little token there.
So we are doing downtime.
If you want. If you don't want, if you want to spend the next 12 hours doing some fun, freaky shenanigans, you can.
No, we need the Hierophant at full strength. I'm down to sleep.
We really do. We need to see these books, but we need our Hierophant really bad.
We do.
Cool. Yes.
I'm just, I'm just considering a fool's move.
Sure.
A fool's move, Nyx is already laughing because you made the game and you know what I'm going to say. I'm suggesting a sweet little dancing on the cliff's edge. At the start of any downtime, when the hero is not injured, announce your intention to party. Other aspects may not take control or use their powers unless you allow them to do so, and no aspects may process harm during this downtime, yourself included. At the end of the downtime, you gain 3 bonus psyche and 2 XP. Other aspects receive their normal downtime benefits, but you do not.
Wow.
That's
So
wild.
the way that I would like to party, if I can.
Well, you just say it. Do you do that?
Oh, I do.
I
do.
Mark
The
that
fool's
off
like,
on your sheet and tell me how it happens.
The fool, okay, great. I think my intention to party before we go down to before we go to the room, the fool is like, ear, and I steer us to every hotel's got vending machines, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say that there are vending machines in the top floor of this research institute. There have to be.
Right. So I spend all of our pocket change on powdered donuts and hot Cheetos.
Great.
And
Oh.
because they're Roderick's favorite.
Hell yeah.
And bring them back up. And the partying is not necessarily like we're not getting blasted. Like we're here to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like after the day I've had and I think the fool had that interaction when we had that interaction was like weird. That was weird. I don't like that. And it's feeling very tense. So they just want to like let loose with their friend and be like, we're bros before any of this other weird stuff. And I just want to relax with you. And by relax, I mean party.
Fuck yeah.
And look at these and party like the nerds do and look through these journals.
They were
And-
now smudged with hot Cheetos and
Yeah.
powdered
and eat no junk food. Yeah.
These artifacts, these like ancient, like these like historical first person documents, and you're like,
Right.
yeah, yeah, definitely, totally. Gorgeous.
I put on party rock on the
Yeah.
little Bluetooth speaker
Oh,
that we have.
good.
Hey, Phyllis
it's
can't
pretty
tell
quiet.
anybody. Phyllis
That's
can't tell
true.
anybody where the hot Cheeto dust came from because otherwise she'd have to fess up that she let us have the
It's true.
books.
That's
So
So there. Yes, great. Okay, so I will say that downtime passes. None of the other aspects can take control during this time, but you all do still get the effects of downtime, right?
Yes.
Fool. That's
Yep.
how that
Mhm.
works. Great.
And for just for those listening at home, not for us, what are those effects of downtime?
Yeah, of
you may
course.
either have one psyche back or you may replenish one of your used powers. So
Oh,
I'm going to
yeah.
take a psyche back.
I'll replenish. Yeah.
I still only have 2, so that's not great. We can pool our XP, and we've all got 1 right now. And if I had 2, I could buy back 1 more psyche if anybody wanted to share their XP with me.
Well, at the end of this, I get 2 extra XP.
Cool.
So I'm down to pool. I'm cool to
Yeah, I
pool.
only need 1.
Oh, do you get 2 extra XP or do we all get 2 extra XP?
I gain, just me.
Okay, I'm gonna erase something unrelated.
Don't worry about that. Great. So I'll say that you party rock with Roderick, and study up a little bit. You get a greater sense of the kind of person that Doreen was. A lot of her journals, I will say, because you've studied them, are written in code. But just like spending time with the code itself is really helpful to sort of like get a greater understanding of like how she wrote these codes. There is no information on what specifically the Valiente code is about or for, mostly because you can't crack the code tonight. But you get a good sense, and so I have readied you in worldliness for the competition tomorrow. And then you all either regain 1 psyche or 1 power, except for Alina. What is there the internal space also a party jam? A party place? Are there strobe lights? We pop in bottles. Like, what does it look like on the inside?
Popping bottles in the no.
We don't
Well,
have the license for that.
I'm so sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Please be-
Redacted.
Please be careful.
Redacted.
Redacted.
James. Oh my God, your name is James. I was quoting. It doesn't matter.
No, I was like, yes. Oh yeah.
Hello.
No. I you know those like circle like little disco balls that have like the different colored lights on them that would sit on a child's desk and rotate.
Yeah.
I think I pulled one of those out, and Asmodeus is just bouncing around.
Good Lord.
And I have hot Cheetos because I want them.
Do the rest of you stay in the shared space, or do you return to your own individual spaces during your downtime?
I
Just
definitely am going back to my private space for at least part of the time.
Yeah. I think the absolute second that disco ball comes out, I'm back in my private space.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the magician sort of like looking around, watching the disco ball kind of spin around, and he just kind of like sighs and goes, "Yeah." And then a little like birthday party hat kind of grows out of his head,
Yes.
and he's like, "Well, if we're gonna do this, let's do it right." And then he's got like 2 fistfuls of like 6 packs of Corona.
The fool is beside themselves with joy. They are jumping on desks.
The magician hands 1 to the fool and 1 to the fool that is beside the fool.
Yes.
The Hierophant stays just briefly because I really want to see how things go with Roderick.
Yes.
But I do also need my time in meditation and reflection and whatever. And so I do make a pretty early exit. But every once in a while I'm still in the shared space, you think you see out of the corner of your eye, and none of you ever see this directly, but you think maybe one of the fireflies flashes like red. Maybe there's a blue one. Was there a purple one? You can't tell for sure, and you never see it directly. And then my fireflies flit off through one of the air vents in the ceiling, and we're gone.
Beautiful. The evening passes. I'll say the fool and the magician, especially if you stay out there all night. If you are keeping an eye out for this, the student who spoke does not appear again. The regular apparitions sort of like filter back in as the party goes on, sort of like readjusting to the environment. And the night passes with no incident. So you all get your delicious little downtime effects. It is bright and early. The alarm is blaring. The continental breakfast is hot and ready downstairs. And Roderick is sort of like shaking you awake and is like, come on. We gotta go.
And then we wake up.
And we rise.
And we rise.
Fool, you are still in control. So unless there's anything in particular that you are like jazzing to do. I'll say that you move downstairs.
Yeah, not jazzing to do anything. I wipe the drool from our mouth
Great.
and get dressed in our snizziest, snazziest clothes.
Mm-hmm. Snizzy and snazzy. And
Yeah,
then we
and then we go down.
great. This is just like a character question that I'm just curious about. Is Carlyle the kind of person to eat breakfast or skip breakfast?
Since this is a fantasy medium,
Yeah.
I don't eat breakfast, and I would like to think that I would be the kind of person that does. So
Yeah.
I feel like Carlisle eats breakfast.
Yum.
That's
Good.
just me. I don't know about anyone else.
I don't.
I mean, I think it
I-
depends on whoever's in control when we wake up.
Oh, that's I'm
Right.
so
Well,
sorry.
Oh
Yeah.
no, don't apologize. I was going to say in full fashion that we get 3 different bowls of whatever cereals they have,
Yeah.
so that we get a little taste of each. You
Yeah,
know.
I think the fool has made our dietary habits very fucking weird.
Yeah.
Powdered
Spontaneous also,
donuts
yeah.
and fucking Cheetos
Yeah.
and fucking
Okay,
8 different
it's
kinds
not
of
that
cereal.
weird.
Yeah, we got some Fruit Loops, we got some Lucky Charms, we got some Frosted Mini Wheats, or the generic versions of those.
Right.
Kellogg's, if you want to sponsor us, you know where to find us. Just in case.
Yeah, Kellogg's. Just in case.
It could happen.
Just
They really need the advertising space.
Right.
I will say that as you sort of like come down, you've got probably about like 45 minutes, half an hour before the competition officially starts. So Shay and Eileen are down there. They're sort of like shoving muffins into their mouth. Roderick is like toasting an English muffin. He makes a little breakfast sandwich. There are like other competitors. You don't see Phyllis. And
Uh-oh. Bianca's consulting something.
I'm consulting the cards.
Bianca's consulting.
I love that.
Doc Barb is on her way out.
No.
Oh, shit.
Bye.
If you wanted to say something, she is leaving. And she is gone.
Yeah. Fuck. All right. I think okay, what happens is the fool goes and like their mouth is like full and they like get up to go and like they have their coffee in their hand and they're like and then they see Doc Barb go and they're just like
Still fully chewing. That's incredible.
The Emperor slowly claps from his throat. Well done, fool.
Did
Oh,
we sort of
zip it.
establish that we overslept a little bit this morning too? Is that the vibe that I got from Roderick kind of shaking us awake?
The vibe, not necessarily that you like overslept necessarily, but that like, like you're not like in trouble or like in a rush. But it's just like a bunch of nerds who love to be awake. Like it's like 7 a.m. to be clear.
They love to be
and
alive.
like the competition is like it's just gonna start early. So we're just like on a little bit of a small time crunch, but not
Okay.
like in a flustered way. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
I think, well, the reason I ask is because I think I had not returned to the shared space yet. And I think maybe this is a little bit outside our normal schedule. And so maybe I was still doing my thing back in my private space. And then I had like an oh shit moment. And the cloud of fireflies come flooding in through the sprinkler system and just like chaos in the room until we have a moment of realizing like, okay, no, it's cool. We're right where we're supposed to be. So I get there just in time to see Barb get away, Doc Barb get
Yeah.
away.
Nice of you to join us, Hierophant.
Nobody woke me up, so here I am.
Physically would not be able to if we could.
Okay,
Your room
it was
extremely
an expression.
Roderick's like, is everything okay?
And then we finish chewing and the fool I think has spent the night dancing the line of like flirting and so is particularly embarrassed by what has just happened and is like yeah no, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm super excited. And Shay's like, okay, so we've got a game plan. We're gonna figure everything out. Roderick was just telling us while you were doing your weird moment of missed connections.
Okay.
That you guys were setting up on some materials last evening. Eileen
Mhm.
and I think that we have a pretty good strategy in terms of like knowing where to go in the library to get resources. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. I think that we stand a really good chance. And then she puts her hand out in the middle, and then Shay, and then Eileen, and then Roderick, and they look at you.
And then we put our hand in.
And then, do we have a team name?
Oh.
I didn't
uh,
ask any time earlier than this. Just curious
No,
to
I
know.
almost said the Sphinx Twinks, but that's not
What? Excuse me?
but that's not true, but I had to say it.
But and you know what? I'm glad it's on the record.
Thank you
I
for
thought we
sharing,
did have one.
honestly.
Or that was the name of our house.
That was the name of the house. I thought that I was
House.
like, wait, we did name it. Oh no, that was
Was
our
the
house
grid,
called the
right?
The house
Grid.
is the grid.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
team could be the grid or the grid lock.
The
grid.
Ooh,
The crew, the grid,
the
The
grid,
gridirons.
the grid,
The
gritty.
gritties. The
the
gritties.
gritties.
You know what?
Only-
Okay, that's great because the grid is a great name for ourselves that no one else hears because it's about our place.
Yeah.
The gritties is terrible, and that's the one that everyone hears.
Gritties.
And that just really speaks to the nerddom, and I love that.
and I
Gritties.
and I agree. So on the count of three, you all sort of like swing your hands up and you all
Oh,
go
God.
gritties.
Oh, no.
And then we all like kind of
So-
groan. Or
Yeah, yeah,
We're like,
right.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh God.
if there's anything else that you want to do at breakfast, I'm going to wheel us into the competition.
I think before we leave
Yes.
breakfast, I'm just gonna to the other aspects just say, hey, before I was out here, did we see Phyllis at all? Did we make any decisions about are we gonna connect with her about giving the book back, or are we just gonna go with it?
I haven't seen Phyllis, so I don't know. But I mean,
It's a precious resource, and we claimed it by right. I say the book belongs to us.
Well,
did.
I don't know about belongs, but I do agree.
And I don't know
Happily
about by
so much.
right.
but we did mark it with the dust of the Cheetos,
Oh
and
God.
that means something.
And perhaps we could see Phyllis pry it from our hands.
Okay. Well, maybe. For now, I say we keep it. And if we run into her later and she asks about it, then sure. But she
Yeah.
didn't seem pressed.
Okay. Okay. I still feel weird about it, but okay.
Roderick's the only one who knows. And I personally think we should keep it that way.
Agreed.
Yeah, and he knows not to say anything, right?
Roderick isn't a snitch. I draw
Okay.
my blade.
I'm just- And
Okay.
the fireflies just fly around you like you couldn't hit me
Yeah.
with that thing if you tried.
So true. I think so then the fool like kind of but right before we like head out or like as we head out like kind of like just like go like touches Roderick's shoulder and is like hey just because I'm not really sure if it was something that was supposed to happen for me to have these journals. Do you mind just kind of like keeping it on the DL for now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I mentioned that we found something to Shay and Eileen, but I didn't say what
Yeah.
because I don't know. And if I don't know, they can't know.
They don't know.
Plausible deniability.
Absolutely. That's perfect. Thanks. You knew. You got it. I just wanted to check in.
Yeah. And he kind of smiles and he's like, I got you. And you all leave the breakfast bar, the delicious continental breakfast that they have at the Sphinx, because that's what I say, and what I say goes. And you re-enter into the library where you were yesterday, and it's been all set up for the competition. So all the tables have been sort of moved aside so that every team has their own like research center. There are library workers sort of moving about the space, just making sure that everything is okay. You do see there's like a table of judges. Phyllis is there with another judge, and then Doc, Barb, and Phyllis are sort of like in conversation with each other. And as you sort of enter in, Shay grabs your hand and sort of like drags you over to one of the tables and is like, okay, this is going to be perfect. I got this. It's going to be all figured out. And you can see over her shoulder you see Doc Barb finish her conversation with Phyllis and turns and is sort of like looking around the room and then makes eye contact with you and then gestures with her head, just sort of like a nod to the left, and heads towards the doors, the front doors of the library where you just came in.
Great. I look at Shay and I go, hold on. I so sorry. I have to step out. I have to go to the bathroom so bad. I'll be right back, I swear.
Nervous bladder. I get it. Get out of here.
And then I zoom to go meet Doc Barb.
She is standing sort of in front of the door, sort of like watching everybody like trickle in. And as you walk up to her, she doesn't acknowledge you, but she is immediately aware of your presence. And she, without looking at you, says, "Do not solve the code." And
What?
that's where we'll stop.
What?
Ah.
What? What?
That's where we're gonna
Damn.
Now
Oh,
listen.
Damn,
You
Jesus.
know we have to
that's
solve the
cold.
code, right?
Mad with power.
The Emperor just starts stabbing.
The magician solves the code. Did I do it?
shit.
And correct, and you win. Congratulations. It's $1 million.
Nice.
Will be sent to your home momentarily. Just kidding.
Uh.
Thank you for playing with me this evening. Jules, if people want to know where to send us $1 million, where can they find us?
Well, we'll take our $1 million a couple away. We'll take that in crypto. We'll take that in cash. We'll take that in credit. We'll take that on faith. But you can take yourself over to IG. That's what the kids call Instagram these days. And you can find us at The Pod Has Been Cast. Listen, I don't know if it's X. I don't know if it's Twitter. I don't know if we're even still using it. But if we were there, we'd be at the PHB Cast. And this is a great place to say hey. You know, see if we posted anything that day.
Yeah.
Maybe we didn't. Maybe we did.
Let us know.
We're not attached to this social media thing. We are sort of a specter online. You know, we will give you a love bombs and then we'll retreat back into the ether. Maybe we'll come back. Maybe we won't. But you know, so send us a line. That's the best way to see if we'll come back. Another great way is to check out our website. I bet y'all miss Bianca doing this. To see our website, it's thepodhasbeencast.com. We got bios there. We got our email address. We got a link to our Discord, not our Discord, our Patreon. Our Patreon, which is what I was going to plug next. If you want to get to the Discord, you got to get through the Patreon. And if you want to get through the Patreon, you have to first make it through the
Hall
of Patrons. The Hall of Patrons. You never know where in the outro it's coming, but you know it's going to be there.
And
You
that's
know
the
it's
fun of
going to
it.
take you by
like an
surprise.
assassin that way.
And it's like an assassin. And the Hall of Patrons, these folks are assassins after my heart. And they strike me dead every time, and they do it with their money. And their money keeps us alive. I'm talking about our beautiful, beautiful patrons like Ryan Fearbach, Nick Narcissi, Kieran, Sajan Abraham, Omar A., Emily B., Luca, Eric Payne, Desmond Universe, Warren Daly, Jonathan Yatsky, Arlo Howard, Adrian, the bad boy of the internet, Olives, Todd Allworm, Michael Sepcott, Matt Hunter, Sam Weissman-Holler, Zach Schley, Zachary S. Zimbal, Time Turner, Aaron Silic, David Moreland, Thomas Boeing, Sarah Witherington, Elijah Sloan, Sarah Harrison, Jerica Hookie, Hannah Beeler, Zelda S., Rhea Strong, Nick Bromley, and my big brother Juan. These are our shining few that hold steady the gates of the Acropolis that's just filled with our cash. And you can be a part of that. Listen. And when I say filled with our cash, I mean it's a small treasury, but it's a mighty treasury, and you can add to it. So we can do things like get new microphones, like get I don't know, a pony, like all these things that we need. This is grassroots podcasting at its finest. All right. So just meet us where we're at, and where we're at is Patreon, and you can support us at any level you got. Listen, if you don't have any money, welcome to the club. Just hop on over to iTunes or Spotify. Give us a 5-star review. You know, that's just as good as gold. Or just tell your friend. That's also just as good as gold. That's just as gold as gold, silver, and copper.
Gold is gold.
The three periodic table of elements. That's it for the old patrons. I don't think I'm responsible for anything else, so I'm gonna
No.
kick it over to Nyx.
DivinationRPG.com. That's all I got. How do I follow that?
That's fair. That's fair.
You can find us.
only-
You can find us on the web at divinationrpg.com, where you can download our playtest materials and play your own crazy game of divination at home.
Mm.
See what happens in the head of your hero. And you can also find us on the IG, which I'm told is what the cool kids call it, or maybe just the kids, cool or not. We are also at Divination RPG there. And, you know, I've said the last couple of episodes that we aren't really playing on the social media site formerly known as Twitter anymore. But then some really, really lovely players that played with us at Gen Con tagged us on there and said lovely things about us the other day.
yeah.
And now I'm like, man, I should use this again. So I'll go ahead and say that you can probably find us there too at divinationrpg.com.
Listen, if you're
No,
feeling
at
some
Divination
kind
RPG. There's no .com on the Twitter. My
Yeah,
God,
that's- we
I
got it.
just outed myself as the oldest person on these microphones.
No!
These microphones.
James's cat's here. Listen, we all
Speaking of
feel some
James.
type of way about billionaires, about Elon Musk, but there's one place that they can't even go. Their money is no good here. Because all this food and drinks and snacks, they're all just bought with good intentions. I'm talking about James's bodega.
Hey, what's going on? I got good prices. I got good people, and the people are the main thing that matters here at James's Bodega. This bit of which I still haven't figured out. What I got for you today is something. It's a little bit product placementy. So look out. This is not sponsored, but this is something that I think is really important: is staying hydrated. I have spent many years not drinking enough water, and just recently got hydrated for the first time. And it is almost entirely because of this really cool water bottle. Oh, Walla, not sponsored. I swear to God, not sponsored.
But if you're looking to sponsor,
But could be.
Could
I mean,
be,
hey,
could be. I'm
check
gonna
us
forward
out.
this to them because here I'm gonna say this. Listen, cats, they've been talking about this water bottle. I don't give a fuck about water bottles. It's a container to carry your water. What could it possibly do for me? I got one of these suckers for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Yeah,
me
you did.
tell you, it has changed things for me. All right. I am reaching a new level of hydration. I left some water in this thing overnight. Woke up the next morning still cold. What is going on with this thing?
And
Yes.
you should press the button because I'm going to see if I can make it sound because the sound of the button being pressed and
yeah.
the water bottle opening is incredible.
See if you can do it. Yeah, here's another one, David, just in case.
Yeah.
whoa,
He'll be able to use one of those, I'm sure.
It's good shit. I mean, stay hydrated in general, but if you need to do fun things to do that in the first place, get yourself an Owala.
If anyone's auntie works at a Walla, hit us up.
Hit us up. We love some merch.
We love some
Okay, well,
aunties.
take your hydrated little cute little faces out of my house now. I'll see you later.
Okay,
Bye.
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 I gotta stop bringing products to those. Sorry.
Close your